Well, hello everyone. This is Robin Carter with Robin's Creations. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator out of Flower Mound, Texas, and today I am here to share my second alternative using the December 2024 paper pumpkin kit named Notes from the Heart. If you missed my first video, there will be a link at the end of this video of where you can find that. So be sure and check that out if you have not already seen that. And before we begin, let me thank those of you that have subscribed to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support. And if you're new to my channel, I hope you find some inspiration with this and you would subscribe to my YouTube channel. So let me switch to hands down so I can share some news for you today. All right, going on right now is the subscription period for the Hearts for You January 2025 paper pumpkin kit. So, and then here is February and here is March. So the first quarter is going to include all card kits. So here is a little preview that they will put out for those. By the way, if you are new to paper pumpkin or you do not have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I would love to be yours. So there's a link in the video description box of this video of where you can subscribe. And if you have any questions, be sure and reach out to me in the comments and I'll do my best to help you out. And I also want to remind everybody, don't steer away from January just because you may say, you know what, I don't send out Valentine cards. And I don't either. So, but if you've followed me for any time, you know that I will make alternatives out of this kit. And especially with this month's kit, we have some great sentiments that we could add onto these to be not Valentine cards. So keep that in mind. And then I also want to share these add-on dies. Mine did come in recently, and this is for the 2025 first quarter, although you know you can use those anytime. So there's a heart, and this heart cuts out two shapes. It cuts out the outline as well as a full heart. And this, I believe, after some reminders, is chives, and it has some kind of berry on it. I've never seen a live chive, so I can't attest to that. And then a bee and the honeycomb. So you'll get to see a sneak peek of those here in just a minute. And don't forget, if you missed out on this quarter's dies, Mary Tags and More, they are still available. And the item number for that is 165639. And I don't think I shared the item number for this. It's 166237 for these 4 dies. All right, I also want to remind everyone that starting soon, January 7th of 2025 starts the celebration catalog. So I cannot open these, but hopefully you have received these, or I will have a link on my blog as to where you can download a digital version of these, or at least see the catalog. So you don't want to miss out on celebration. It's one of the special times of year where you get to pick a free item with a certain dollar amount of purchase. So I just wanted to share that. I haven't shared that recently. I don't know why, but I just wanted to be aware that that is coming very soon, and I'm going to be featuring one of the products out of celebration in this alternative. Okay, get that out of the way and let's get to the alternative. So for this alternative, I'm going to use the flower here in the center. So let's get started. I have pre-prepped some stuff for you. So what you're going to need is always a thick white card base. And then I have a layer that is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And this is what I embossed it with. Let me show you because it's a new product. This is out of the Celebration catalog. It is free with a $60 purchase. It's called Starstruck. Does that show decently? Okay, the item number when it becomes available as a celebration item is 164972. And by the way, I still have a December host code. Today is December 31st of 2024. So I will close this host code about 7 p.m. Central Time. And then tomorrow I will share a January host code. if you're always looking for the host code, you can also go to my online store under specials, and that's where I will put the host code if you're looking for it. By the way, any orders of $75 or more using my host code, you'll receive a special gift from me as a thank you for shopping with me. All right, so the Starstruck layer, I'm going to set this over here. All right, and then I brought in the Spotlight on Nature dies, and it's real funny. I was looking and looking and looking for those, and it's in my little stack of goodies over here. So let me put the one I used with it. That's just how that works. Okay, so I have used the largest of these add-on dies, and you could use the largest one of the other pattern. Let me see what it is. Yeah, it's the stitches. Any one of those would work. You can choose your favorite. I kind of went with the flower petal one that looks like this one. I'll put that in there later. And I did that with Night of Navy cardstock. Set that there, and then we're going to need a vellum piece out of the kit, the vellum leaves, as well as the flower. And then I brought in a little piece of designer series paper. Now let me share where I got that from. This paper called Mediterranean Blooms. A lot of you may have just focused on the what I call the A side, but I loved this paper because of the B side. So every one of these piece has some navy and other blue coordinating colors on the back side. So this shows you the back side. So don't always just glance through designer series paper without looking at the other side, because I find I use the other side a lot instead of the main design. So that's where this comes from. Again, it's the Mediterranean Blooms, item number 163284. Now this is a navy colored designer series paper. Look in your stash. Maybe you have some navy that you haven't used. I have quite a bit of retired, but I try to use new products when it comes to making these cards for you, so you can get those as well. All right, so since I've already done most of the work, I'm going to go ahead and start assembling. So here is the 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, and I chose Night of Navy because I thought it really gives that flower a pop. I went through several colors. I went through Mossy Meadow, and it kind of washed out the leaves. Old Olive, I didn't like that. I picked up Flirty Flamingo. I didn't like that, and I picked up Pretty in Pink, and I finally said, let me look for a neutral, and Night of Navy is a part of our neutrals collection, and I really like how that flower just pops off of there. So, and then since it's navy, I decided not to color the leaf. I did try coloring one, and I think I got it too dark, and it just didn't go. So I chose just to leave this one blank, but you can do what you prefer to do with your leaves. So I'm going to get my scissors here, and I'm going to cut this apart just so I can spread the leaves, some down here and so forth. So I'm just going to start here, and it won't matter on one side because the leaf will hide that. And here. Okay, so that's all we need to do to snip off just a few flowers that we can put around the pattern here. So I'm going to start adhering, and what I find best for the vellum are the paper pumpkin glue dots that we get as part of our kits. I find they make a great, they don't show as much on the vellum, but I'm going to do my best to put them also where the flower will hide it in case it shows. So I'm just going to put a few on here as well as the other piece. Now I'm going to flip this one over so the main leaves stick out here and the ones that are kind of cut will be hidden. So look at your vellum to see which way you want them to go. All right, and so I'm not going to take the glue dots off yet. I want to make sure I have them where I want them. Okay, and then I will adhere. You know what? I know I want the stem going off because I want to leave room for a sentiment. And I think that looks pretty good right there. I don't know if you can see that. All right, so I can now take off the glue dot. So I kind of just keep a hand down on my pieces without trying to bend the vellum, because a bend will make a mark. And let's see if I can get this one off. Okay, that one is down. So now I can do this one. What do you guys think about the Night of Navy cardstock with this? I thought it really makes this flower pop. Okay, and then we can stick our flower on here. So I'm gonna use some tear and tape. We did get tear and tape in this kit, so you should have plenty. You put a little piece down on the bottom part so it sticks down well. Okay, I think that looks good. So here's my layer of flowers and the vellum leaves. All right, so I'm going to add this designer series paper right to the bottom of this. It is 4 inches by 1 3/4, and I do that on purpose. I like it. I love leaving a little border so it shows around. Also, when you trim it to 4 inches, you can get 3 pieces across on our 12 by 12 paper. So just a little paper savings right there. And I'm going to get my multi-purpose liquid glue. I've been using glue dots and tear and tape a lot, so it may take me a second to get this started. There we go. Might have a little glue puddle dried in the tip, but that'll be good. And you don't want to be too generous, but you want to be generous when you're adhering it to already embossed paper because of the grooves and everything. You need to make sure the glue gets down inside of that. So I'm going to hold this up and do my best to center it with an equal border of white all around. Now in the one I made earlier, I didn't include any ribbon, and I generally love to include ribbon, but I thought I had ordered the little 1/4 inch white ribbon, and I got cream. I got 2 creams, so I guess I forgot to order the white. So I'm going to have to dig into my retired for some white. Now this is crinkled binding ribbon. I don't remember when it was available, but it's something that I had that was the same length. And on this one, I'm going to go ahead and add it. Now, you can add it over this if you want. I'm just going to put it right on top. That way the white shows behind there. But you'll see in my finished one that ribbon is not required. I just thought I would try that on this card. And find the start of my tear and tape to put a little strip there and there to help hold down my ribbon. So maybe you're watching this waiting for the new year to arrive. We live in the central time zone, and my husband generally celebrates the Eastern time zone so he can get to bed. I'm more of the night owl, and I generally see both come in. But anyway, Happy New Year to everyone. Let's hope 2025 is a great one for you. So as you can see, that doesn't add a whole lot. If I had some navy ribbon, I might do it. But it just adds a little something of texture for my card. So now I can adhere it to my card base. All right. And this one, of course, is not 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. So you know what? Let's try, see if I trimmed my other piece. I had to, if I can find it, or I could try to trim it real quick. Let me go try and trim this real quick. I may have to take my ribbon off. So this shows you what you can do if you have messed up your layer. All right, so I will be right back with this trimmed off. Okay, so here it is trimmed to the correct size. I always like to leave a little border to show my card front. I don't know why I like that. If you like to cover the whole thing, then you could do it like my other one. So since I already had this designer series paper on there, I had to be really careful and trim a little from each side so that it was still centered. So if you miscut something and want to trim it down, I did trim the sides first so I could see about how much border I wanted for the bottom part, and then trim the rest from the top. So there's a tip for you if you're trying to trim paper that already has stuff centered on it. You need to kind of trim all around. So I'm going to be kind of generous here with my multi-purpose glue and adhere this to the card front. Now I have one special thing I want to share with you since I have my new 2025 add-on dies. I thought I would add to this. So get out my little goodies. So this is the dies if you haven't seen them yet. It's Spring is in the Air, and I think I shared that I did share these, but I put my little magnet on there so they didn't float all around. So here's the heart that cuts to the chives with, I think it has a berry of it, the cute little honeycomb, and then the bee. So I thought it'd be really cute to add this bee to the flower. If you don't have these yet, I know we had cute butterflies back, I think it was the second quarter dies. So this is how the bee cuts, okay? And I didn't like that he was hollow, so I made a cut with my Scan and Cut so I could add Daffodil Delight to him. Now when you cut this, you do want to cut it with some adhesive sheets, and I have those to share. So these are great because little intricate dies like this, you can cut them with the adhesive sheet on the bottom, and then that way it's sticky. And I don't know why my voice is so raspy, but I'm going to continue on. All right, so here's the bee, and there's a little part here, and I'm okay with that. Let's see if it helps me get the adhesive sheet up, and it didn't. It fell right off. Now, unfortunately, you guys know I do cut files of sentiments. I cannot do the back of the bee because it traces a die, and they said we're not allowed to sell cut files that trace a die. I can still do them with my sentiments, and I do have this cut file out. You can see I did one for every sentiment, and we're going to use one of those. Here's a tip if you want to make your own. So I cut off the antennas of this bee, okay, because you don't want your Daffodil Delight to go up here. It would be too dainty, and that way I got this. So you don't add any overlap. And I know this is easy for the Scan and Cut. It's not very easy for SVG files, and I apologize. I really wish I could help you guys out with that file, but I'm going to follow the rules and go along with that. All right, so I'm going to put a glue dot on the back of my bee. I guess you could try to fussy cut around it. That wouldn't be too fun, but it could be done. All right. Or maybe trace the bee and then cut on the inside. That would be an option. And I'm just going to put him, let's turn him a little bit like he's flying off. All right, so then we're going to add this using dimensionals, my favorite way to add interest to my cards. And I have them in this old style of, for when we used to have the ones you had to cut your own stamps out. I'll tell you what, my first stamp set I ever bought, I was doing it for scrapbooking, and I bought an alphabet set. But this was before they pre-cut them. And I had spent a lot of time cutting the rubber of those alphabet stamps. So I'm much thankful that they now cut those for us. It was quite a chore. I'm going to put one in the middle. All right, you can see I did on the large dimensionals, cut them in half. I find it's still plenty. I go through so many of these because I love adding height to these. All right, so I'm just going to hold this over. Now, probably what I should have done is made sure my leaves weren't going to hang off the card. So I'm going to turn it a little more that way, and that works out because I want to leave room down here for a sentiment. So you could do it on the label that they provided. I just thought it was a little long. I guess in the center might look okay. But I decided to go with one of my cut files, and the cut file is on my Etsy shop, which there's a link in this video of where you can find that. And I'm going to make this one a thank you card. You could do any of them would fit. Birthday, lots of love. Let's see, what else is there? There's congrats and get well soon. You know what, maybe I'll make this a get well soon. That fits really well there. Then just a note, and I have some blank ones ready to stamp. Best of luck. Let's make this a get well. And of course, you know me, I want it on dimensional so that it stands up a little bit from the designer series paper. Okay, and there we go. So I realized I didn't use the little scallop thing. I just really liked how the Night of Navy made this flower pop. And so let me get out my already finished card. It's going to look much like that, just no ribbon. And of course the leaves could be in slightly different places. So you can see I made this one a thank you. You really can't tell the difference in the ribbon other than it helps kind of separate that gap right there. So what do you guys think about this alternative? So we only have 3 flowers of each pattern, so I have to be careful and lay everything out before I share those with you. All right, so let me switch back. Is there anything else? Oh, I do want to point out that that embossing folder that's part of Celebration, it's not a 3D embossing folder. I can switch back to me for the rest of this. That's not me. Okay, so you'll use a clear plate on both sides on top of the #1 base plate. So I keep a separate pair of clear too for embossing. That way I can see through and make sure my embossing folder is the way I want it. And also you want to put in the fold first, and I do it at an angle. If you go straight in, it kind of makes a pop. It goes... Let's see, it goes smoother through your die cut and emboss machine if you kind of turn it at an angle. That's the same way with dies that are squares or something like that. So I just thought I'd give you that tip. So thanks for joining me today. The best compliment you can give me is a thumbs up to this video. Share it with your other paper crafting friends. And if you're not already subscribed to my channel, please consider subscribing. There'll be an easy button in the end credits of this video of how you can do that. So happy New Year's Eve, everyone, and happy New Year's tomorrow to you and your family. Until my next video, have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.